Rob, you talk all season about the league table not lying. You go into the final round of the season in 4th place and challenging for a playoff berth. This is new territory, but how exciting is it?
Yeah, no, exactly right. You know, it's interesting. I was talking to my wife last night about it, and we just sat and had a quick look at the table on the TV. And you look at Exeter Chiefs, they're level with Saracens on points and wins, and then you look at Leicester being 1 point ahead of us. You know, and that's the truth. You know, that's what the table's saying. And you know, we're thereabouts now at this stage of the season. 1 round left. It's all to play for us. And the important thing is that we just focus on what is our job, and our job is playing very well here against Sale. And we've got to avoid getting distracted about what everyone's going to think Northampton or Leicester or Saracens and London Welsh are going to do, and make sure that, you know, let them get distracted by each other, and let's make sure that we get the one thing done that's very important, which is a good performance here.
You said that first and foremost, get the job done here, and what will be. But Sale have their part to play. You know, they're in with a shout of a Champions
Well, that's
Cup
exactly what I mean. You know, I think there's going to be an awful lot of chat about the other games, almost as though, you know, a win here for us is just part of the ingredients, and what else happens will decide things. And that's what I want to fight against at all costs. You know, Sale are going to come here. They've still got an outside chance of qualifying for the top flight competition. I know how hard we've worked this season to get back into the top 6, and I know how hard Sale are going to work when they come down here. So the one thing that's important for us is making sure we don't take anything for granted. We show Sale the respect they deserve, and they deserve a lot of respect because they've beaten us before in the past, and they've beaten us well. So, you know, like I said, we've already talked about the potential distractions that are out there. We got those out of the way at the beginning of the week, and kind of by talking about them quite openly and honestly, I think they're dealt with. And the way the guys are trained now, they train really well this week. They look very focused, and to me, they look ready to play a big game of rugby. And
a big game it was last Sunday. How much confidence do you take from that in the performance that you've gone toe to toe with one of the best in the division?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the thing that I liked about it more than anything else was that, you know, getting to this stage of the season and go into what you call a traditional top 4 side, who are used to being here and used to having to start winning these games, you know, going away from home and putting in a level of performance that deserved to win, and should we show the physical intensity and commitment required to be winning games at this stage of the season. That was really pleasing, and I'll be honest with you, I was really pleased for the players, because, you know, they were aware that probably they hadn't quite brought enough to the last 2 games, which was a semi-final in Europe and a very important game away at Wasps. And I think, you know, to be able to deal with that in the manner they did, you know, and take it on the chin and understand that they maybe had not quite got things right, and within the space of a couple of weeks turn that around and train in the way they did and approach the game in the manner they did and then perform like they did, you know, those are great qualities that the team has shown. And what we have to do now is not let the Saracens game be just one of those nice fixtures in our past. It has to mean something, and for it to mean something, we have to make sure we put a win in here at the weekend.
You'll have 23 guys that will go out into battle this weekend, but when you look collectively over the season, what a squad effort it's been for you this year.
Yeah, and I think that's the important way of looking at it. You know, some people have already said, oh, what if we'd have won this game or won that game or whatever, but life doesn't work like that. You know, you shouldn't have any regrets over things that have happened, because it's the tight games we've lost probably this season that have made us what we are at this stage of the season, because we learnt along the way. You know, we've been competitive every week. You know, only 1 game in the Premiership where we haven't collected a losing bonus point. You know, that you're a good side if you've got that kind of consistency and get into the final of an LV Cup, get into the final of a semi-final of the European thing. You know, the boys have worked extremely hard, and the way I like to look at this weekend is having the opportunity to be involved in a game like this against Sale is a reward. It's a reward for a lot of hard work. You know, what you've got to do with rewards is you take them with both hands, you know, and then further things come. All I'm really determined is really hit the pitch in the right frame of mind. What will be here on Saturday. I just want us to be proud of what we've done on this day when the game comes around, and then the other bits and pieces they'll just take care of themselves. You know, there's nothing. I'm not going to try and get involved in some war of words that what happened with Northampton and Leicester. You know, Northampton have won the league. They deserve to do whatever they want to do. You know, their fate is in their own hands. You know, what we have to do is talk about ourselves and what we can do.
And in terms of the players that leave, they go onto new pastures, but what a effort of some of those guys, the likes of Skaysbrook, Sweeney. Yeah.
Exactly, it's always, for me as the kind of the head coach here, it's always the hardest time of year when you start coming around to those guys, because, you know, everyone's aware that what we ask these players to do, you know, we ask them to emotionally buy into what being an Exeter Chief's all about. You know, some of that is some pretty silly stuff, and some of it's some real serious stuff. But what you find with all of the lads who come here, you know, they buy into it pretty quickly, and they become really good teammates with everybody, and they're genuinely good friends with the other guys in the changing rooms. You know, and it's hard as a coach when you ask and you expect them to completely emotionally buy into what the team are all about, and then, you know, sometimes you don't offer them a contract. Sometimes they finish their time in rugby and have to move on. You know, and it's tough. And all we can do is what we do at every end of season dinner we have done this year, is thank them for all their efforts, thank them for being really good guys, and make sure that they appreciate that whatever happens, for whatever reasons they're leaving or retiring or whatever, that we really appreciate everything they've done, and that they're very important people in the kind of history of the club.
And the players you talk about there, but your backroom staff, the people around the club here, they played their part as well.
Exactly. I mean, it's always a team effort, isn't it? And I think that's what's nice about working here. I've said it before. For me, to be in an away ground and we see our backroom staff, up there, with tomahawks and with headdresses on and cheering and shouting for the team, well, that's fantastic. And I know for a fact there's not a lot of rugby clubs that have that. And I think that kind of we're in it all together, and we're going to enjoy it all together, and we're going to experience the good times and the bad times together, is one of the big qualities the club have.
And finally, if you don't make the top 4, you'll still look back at this season as being another one on a massive upward curve.
Well, I mean, it has to be, doesn't it? It's the most points we've ever collected in the Premiership. It's the first time we've got to a European semi-final. Second year in the LV Cup final. It has to be a good year. But it's like anything, isn't it? When you're having a good year, you want it to go on and on and on. And some seasons you never want to end. And I think that's starting to feel a bit like one of those seasons where I actually don't really want to have a lie-in on Monday morning. I actually want to get back in here and start looking at how we can potentially pull ourselves back together and start beating another team in a semi-final in a week's time. But that's my personal feeling. I know that's how the players feel, but that's kind of in our hands, because what we've got to do is get ready over the next 2 days to play against Sale. And like I say, as long as our focus remains on Sale, and we put in a performance here that we're proud of, then I think almost whatever happens this season will have been a fantastic little voyage for us.
Brilliant.